Wow, okay. Hi again. I'm actually getting myself together and making another video. Wow. So, today's video is going to be a how I take notes video for the upcoming school year. My note-taking style has changed a lot over the previous years, so I thought, why not make a video about it? The clips that you are watching right now are some of my notes from last year, from biology and from French. My notes from the other subjects basically look like they were hit by a tornado, so unfortunately they will not be featured in this video. So anyways, let's get on with the video. I'm going to show you some of my supplies first. So first off, the pen. I usually take my notes in a black pen with the uniball signo or a muji 0.38mm gel pen. Both write super smoothly and are great pens for note-taking in my opinion. I use pen for each of my subjects except for math, which of course I make so many mistakes in, you kinda have to use pencil. Next we have the highlighter. I like to use zebra mildliners because of the calm colors, and they make my notes look a lot less distracting when I look at them later. I typically like the blues and the greens and some of the purples. It really just depends on what I'm feeling that day, I guess. I'll use the highlighter to highlight important things, including vocab, key terms, etc. So in this clip, I'm showing you a highlighter test with my uniball pen and the zebra mildliner. The uniball pen, it does smear when you highlight over it too quickly, but overall, if you are patient, you can wait. It highlights over pretty well. I just didn't wait too long because, I'm just very impatient. So really, a highlighter and a black pen is really all you need. But I have a few extra supplies that I like to use just to spice up my notes a little, to make them a little more interesting to look at after class. When making my headers, I like to use a calligraphy pen to make them look really nice. I use the Pentel Fude Touch brush pen. It's a fine tipped brush pen, which is great for notes because it writes kind of smaller than the tombow dual brush. I really like this pen. It's definitely a must-have for me. The next two supplies are for math. I have this graph paper post-it thingy. It's got an adhesive and it's from the brand Post-it, so. Then I've got my Muji mechanical pencil. It's the same one you saw in my previous What's in My Pencil Case video, so no further explanation needed there. I use the graph paper and I cut it out and I put it in my notes, for math specifically. And I think it works really well because it's just really nice to have a graph just right there instead of having to take all of your notes on just graph paper. Next, I have some pastel blue post-it notes, also seen in my pencil case. I just use these to write summaries down on. Now let's dive into the actual note-taking, which is probably why you clicked this video. So first off, I'm drawing my header with my calligraphy brush pen. I'm taking an extra lot amount of time here, mostly just because I can, but I rush a lot on this during class because the teacher usually starts right away after the bell rings. So yeah, as you can see, it really makes the notes look a lot nicer, especially when you look at the final result. Now I select my highlighter color for my whole notes. I like to just use one color because I think too many colors is a little distracting. And I'm using my ruler just because I'm extra and I want to make the line extra straight. I don't usually do this during class, but I thought why not? I can just do it now, I guess. With the chiseled tip of the mildliner, I draw a line on each side of the header. I got this header idea from Study Quill. She uses it on all of her notes and it just looks fantastic in my opinion. Next, usually on the left line next to the header, I like to put the date and the section or chapter I'm taking notes on if it applies to the class, because sometimes my classes don't really go by a textbook. It's kind of weird. So next we're going to start on the actual notes. My note-taking style is really simple. I just go by bullet points. I think it makes the notes just so much simpler to read and just nicer to look at. A little bit indented from that first bullet point, I will do another bullet point with any sub-information, anything that relates to the first bullet point usually. yes, because everyone makes mistakes. I spelled info wrong. Go me. So there's me just whiting it out with my whiteout. Anyways, if my big ol' hand would just move out of the way, you'd see that I am copying down the words key terms. I'm going to be highlighting over that with the same color of zebra mildliner that I used for the lines at the header. I did wait a bit longer for the pen to dry, so it's not smearing as much. So now I am just showing you how I use the sticky note graph paper to do graphs. So I have these little scissors that I carry in my pencil case occasionally, and I'm cutting the graph to a somewhat square size. It's probably technically a rectangle, but I cut that out and I just put it on the piece of paper and I draw my X and Y axis and I just draw a graph on there. I think it makes it so much easier because typically what some of my friends do is they do it on a separate piece of paper, but I kind of think it's annoying to flip back and forth to a different piece of paper just to reference a graph. So I found that this method really works a lot for me. So I forgot to include this in the beginning, but to write down important, like really important stuff, I either use a red or a blue pen. So here you can see me showing you my Muji pens. That's what I usually use. And I usually write like really stuff that I really need to remember that I know I'm gonna forget. And then I will circle it in a box. As you can see, my boxes are not very neat, so they kind of squiggle a little bit, but that's alright. And then to give it some more depth and to make it look a little bit better, I like to add a nice drop shadow with another one of my brush pens. This isn't the same exact brush pen I showed you before. That's because I didn't want to use it too much before school starts. Oh, but wait, there's more. I have another style of drop shadow I like to use that's a little bit quicker, and that's just to outline that side of the box. So here, the final thing I do in my notes is I'm using my pastel blue Post-its, and I write summaries on these. If I find myself with a lot of time at the end of class, usually I'll just grab a Post-it out and just summarize the information. It helps me ensure that I understand it, and if I have to really study like the night before a test or quiz, I can just look at these summaries on my notes, and I'll be all good to go. And with that concludes this video, and it also concludes my notes, I guess. Thanks so much for watching, and if you liked it, you should probably give it a thumbs up. And if you really liked it, subscribe to this channel because hopefully I'll be posting some more videos during the school year. Anyways, bye!